So let's get into it. Canada is making a massive push into electric vehicles, but here's the question at the heart of it all. Is the government's plan to finally make them affordable for everyone actually opening up a whole new can of worms when it comes to national security? It's a huge debate, and it touches on our economy, our security, and yeah, the very future of how we get around.
You see, the government is basically trying to juggle two giant problems at the same time. One, how do you get EV prices down so regular people can afford them? And two, how do you protect our national security in an increasingly digital world? The problem is, the fix for one seems to be making the other one worse.
And that, right there, is the central conflict we're going to unpack. On one hand, you have this fantastic promise of affordable, clean cars for every Canadian. But on the other hand, there's this growing fear that those exact same cars could pose a brand new threat to our security.
All right, first up, let's break down the deal that really kicked this whole debate into high gear.
So, back on January 16, 2026, Prime Minister Carney announced this new partnership with China. And the goal, on the surface, was pretty simple. Let a limited number of Chinese-made electric vehicles into the country to tackle that big problem of high sticker prices head-on.
Now, when you dig into the details, this deal is pretty fascinating. It's not just opening the floodgates, right? It's a very specific number of cars, and the tariff gets slashed way down. In return, Canadian farmers get a huge win, which is a big deal. But that last point, that's the real kicker. It's a direct order to bring in cars that are actually truly affordable.
But here's the thing you have to understand. This deal with China, it's just one piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. It's all part of a complete rethink of Canada's entire auto strategy.
So what we're seeing here is a massive shift in thinking. The old plan was what they called a mandate. Basically, 100% of all new cars sold had to be electric by 2035. Simple as that. The new plan throws that right out the window. Instead, it sets really tough emission standards and tells the car companies, look, we don't care how you do it, just hit these clean air targets. And to back all this up, they are putting some serious cash on the table. We're talking a whopping $3 billion to encourage manufacturing right here at home in Canada, another $2.3 billion for you, the consumer, in rebates, and $1.5 billion to finally build out the charging network we all need.
Okay, so let's zoom in on the part that probably matters most to you if you're thinking about buying a car, that new consumer rebate.
Yup, $5,000. That's the magic number. It's the biggest rebate you can get for a brand new, fully electric or fuel cell vehicle, and it kicks in starting February 2026.
Now, this isn't a forever thing. The program is designed to give the market a big push to start. It kicks off at $5,000 and then slowly steps down over the next 5 years. The thinking is, by 2030, EVs will just be more affordable on their own, without the extra help. But, and this is a huge but, there's a catch. A little detail buried in the fine print of this rebate plan that completely changes the game, especially when you remember that deal with China we were just talking about.
Okay, this is where you can really see what the government is prioritizing. The rebate is only for cars under $50,000, unless, that is, they're built in Canada. But here it is, the critical rule. The car has to come from a country that Canada has a free trade agreement with. And well, China doesn't have one. So the result? The very cars being brought in specifically to lower prices for everyone don't qualify for the rebate at all.
And look, this isn't just some small detail. This exclusion matters a lot. We have data from the Canadian Climate Institute, and it is crystal clear these incentives have a massive, massive impact. For every $1,000 you knock off the price of an EV, sales jump by 11.5%. So taking a potential $5,000 rebate off the table, that is a huge deal.
Okay, so we've talked about the money, the rebates, the economics of it all. But now we have to pivot and talk about the other side of this coin, the part that has some people really, really worried.
Before we get into the whole spy car thing, let's just make sure we're on the same page. A modern, connected car is not just a car anymore. You have to think of it like a computer on wheels. It's packed with sensors, microphones, cameras, and it's all constantly hooked up to the internet, sending and receiving data.
And the person leading the charge on this has been Ontario's Premier Doug Ford. And he has not minced words. He straight up called these imports spy vehicles, and he's raising the alarm that all that tech inside could be used to listen in on Canadians.
Okay, so that's the big, flashy headline. But when you talk to cybersecurity experts, they'll tell you that if you're only worried about Chinese cars, you might be missing the much bigger picture.
See, what this debate has really done is kind of blow the lid off a massive vulnerability in, well, in all modern cars. Any car that's connected to the internet could be a target. And in a really ironic twist, China itself actually banned Teslas from its own military bases back in 2021 over these exact same spying concerns. As one expert put it, being uncomfortable with any car company having the ability to listen in, that's the real issue here.
So, after all that, the deals, the rebates, the spy warnings, what are you, the driver, the citizen, supposed to take away from this whole complex mess? What this all boils down to is that Canada's new EV strategy is really just a series of incredibly tough trade-offs. It's trying to thread a needle between these goals that sometimes just flat out contradict each other. We want cheaper cars, but we want them to be secure. We want global trade, but we want to protect local jobs. It's a real balancing act. And ultimately, that's the big question this new policy leaves all of us with. As we drive into this electric and super-connected future, what do we actually value the most? Is it affordability? Is it security? Or is it building things right here at home? Because right now, it sure seems like we might not be able to have it all.